What if I told you that some of the most powerful garden transformations ever discovered aren't hiding in expensive fertilizer bags at the garden center, but are literally sitting in your kitchen scraps, your morning coffee routine, and that pile of leaves you were about to bag up for the curb? Most people don't know this, but while modern gardeners are spending hundreds on synthetic fertilizers and soil amendments, there are 11 forgotten treasures that cost practically nothing and deliver results that make expensive products look like amateur hour. I've been testing these buried amendment techniques for over 2 decades in my own backyard, and the science backs up what traditional gardeners knew centuries ago. These methods can provide significant benefits for your garden while reducing waste and costs. Wait until you see number 6, human hair bundles that deliver nitrogen, completely free from any salon, while creating a pest barrier that helped my tomato crop. And number 11 is going to blow your mind. It's a fermented kitchen waste technique that costs $0 and can significantly improve your harvest. If you want to become the neighbor everyone comes to for gardening advice, the one with the most abundant harvest on the block, hit that subscribe button right now. I share these hard-won secrets from years of trial and error every single week, so you don't have to lose seasons like I did figuring this stuff out. So, let's get into it. Here are 11 things to bury under your transplants this spring that change everything about how they grow. Ranked from solid game changers to absolutely mind-blowing transformations. Number 1, crushed eggshell collars, the calcium fortress that helps prevent blossom end rot. I lost a significant portion of my beefsteak tomatoes to blossom end rot. Those ugly black sunken spots that hit like clockwork in June. Turns out eggshells were the unsung hero that Depression-era gardeners swore by when calcium sprays weren't available. A single eggshell contains calcium carbonate, providing value compared to store-bought lime. This trick has been used by gardeners for generations. Research confirms that crushed eggshells can help buffer pH swings and deliver calcium directly to root zones, potentially reducing blossom end rot compared to surface applications. The key is baking shells at 200 degrees for 10 minutes to sterilize them, crushing to quarter-inch pieces, then burying in a 2-inch deep collar around transplants in April when soil hits 55 degrees. Here's what most people miss. You can't just scatter them on top. Dig your hole 6 inches deep, layer half a cup of crushed shells at the bottom in a ring pattern, set your transplant, and backfill. The shells slowly dissolve and can help improve soil drainage. Think of it as an underground calcium bank account that's been waiting in your breakfast routine for you to make the deposit. Number 2, aged wood chip plugs, the fungal feast that turns roots into nutrient magnets. My carrots and beans struggled with transplant shock until I discovered aged oak chips can help attract beneficial fungi, potentially boosting nutrient uptake. A cubic yard of chips costs $35 at the landscape yard, but aging them yourself saves money while turning waste into gold. Forest gardeners have used this technique for generations. The insider edge that took me time to learn. Source hardwoods like oak or maple, never walnut, which releases compounds that can inhibit other plants. Age them under a tarp for 6 to 12 months with occasional watering until they turn tan and develop fungal threads inside. Test by snapping one. It should crumble without splintering. Punch a plug hole 4 inches wide and 6 inches deep at transplant time in late April. Stuff in 1 golf ball-sized plug per plant and mist lightly. This can help establish beneficial fungal networks, potentially improving nutrient uptake. This technique can work well on beans, squash, and brassicas. But here's the thing. Your roots can grow deeper, and carrots can develop better with improved soil structure. Think of it as a fungal internet connection that's been waiting in your compost pile for you to plug in. Number 3, Buried banana peel ferment, the potassium potion that can help fruit development. I had issues with small tomatoes. I started fermenting banana peels and burying them, adding potassium at root level. Banana peels can provide potassium for plants, and with grocery waste being a significant portion of household trash, this recycles potential fertilizer. Traditional farmers have used various fermentation techniques for soil improvement. Here's why it works. Ferment peels from 5 to 7 bananas in a sealed 5-gallon bucket with 1 gallon rainwater and 1 cup molasses for 14 days at 70 degrees, stirring daily until bubbly. The molasses feeds beneficial microorganisms that help break down the organic matter. The reason most people fail with banana peels is they just bury them fresh, which creates anaerobic rot and attracts pests. Bury half a cup of fermented material per transplant hole, bottom for tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers, then plant immediately without mixing. This releases nutrients slowly over time, without burning roots. This technique can help improve fruit development when properly applied. My tomatoes and cucumbers showed improvement with this method. The fermentation process creates organic acids that can help make nutrients more available for plant uptake. Think of it as a slow-release potassium source that's been hiding in your fruit bowl for you to discover. Number 4. Kelp meal at root depth, the seaweed surge that can improve stress resistance. During hot weather, my peppers stayed strong while neighbors' plants struggled, thanks to kelp meal, which contains beneficial compounds that can help build plant resilience. Kelp meal can provide better survival rates in challenging conditions. A pound costs $15 but treats many plants, and coastal farmers have used seaweed for soil improvement for generations. Here's what most people miss. You can't just sprinkle it on top where rain washes it away. Use quality kelp meal sources. Bury 1 to 2 tablespoons 4 to 6 inches deep in a 3-inch radius around roots at transplant between April 15th and 30th. Water activates compounds that can enhance stress tolerance. This pairs well with peppers and tomatoes. The reason kelp meal got less popular is that synthetic fertilizers became more common after industrial agriculture expanded. Plants can better handle stress with this treatment. My peppers yield more pods that are flavorful and thick-fleshed. Think of it as an oceanic stress support that's been waiting in ancient tides for you to harness. Number 5. Buried comfrey leaves, the dynamic accumulator that provides nutrients. I had nutrient issues with my brassicas, yellow leaves and small heads. This improved when I buried comfrey leaves that can provide more nutrients than many other organic materials. Free from one plant that yields significantly per year, this beats bagged compost. Traditional gardeners have used comfrey for soil building for generations. Grow bocking. 14 comfrey, the sterile variety that won't seed everywhere and take over your garden. Chop fresh leaves in early morning when nutrient levels are higher, and bury 1 to 2 cups 6 inches deep directly under transplant holes. The leaves break down into nutrient-rich material that releases NPK over the growing season. Here's the thing. Comfrey's taproot goes deep, pulling up minerals from subsoil that shallow-rooted plants can't reach. When you bury those leaves, you're essentially accessing nutrients from deeper soil layers. This technique has shown benefits in various trials, and my cabbages now develop larger heads with better flavor. Comfrey contains compounds that can stimulate root growth in nearby plants, creating beneficial underground relationships. Think of it as a deep earth mineral elevator that's been waiting in one simple plant for you to operate. If you're finding value in these buried treasure techniques, smash that like button and make sure you're subscribed because we're just getting to the really amazing ones. The next 6 methods are the game changers that separate backyard legends from average gardeners. Number 6, human hair bundles, the nitrogen source that can deter pests. After deer damaged my heirloom tomato starts, a barber told me about hair clippings. During challenging times, folks have used hair bundles around gardens to help deter animals and provide nitrogen when commercial fertilizers were scarce. That first spring, I bundled hair from my clippers and the local salon, free for asking, and buried it under every transplant. Deer avoided those plants, and my tomatoes grew well. With salon waste being significant, this is your zero-cost option that can provide pest deterrents and fertilizer benefits. Hair contains nitrogen and keratin that breaks down slowly via soil bacteria. The pro-move amateurs miss. Don't scatter hair on top where it mats and repels water. In early April, when soil hits 50 degrees, dig a 4-inch diameter by 8-inch deep pocket 2 inches offset from your transplant's root ball. Cram in a baseball-sized bundle soaked overnight in compost tea, then top with crushed eggshells to help regulate pH. Hair's keratin can release nitrogen over several weeks without burning plants, potentially boosting leafy growth. For varieties like tomatoes or bush beans, this can help turn starts into bushier plants. The reason this got forgotten is that synthetic nitrogen became widely available and industrial agriculture moved away from waste recycling methods. Think of it as a protein-powered nitrogen source that's been waiting in every haircut for you to collect. Number 7. Granite dust pockets, the mineral source that releases nutrients slowly. During a challenging growing season, my eggplants struggled until I used granite dust from a local quarry, a countertop byproduct stonemasons often discard. Ground rock materials have been used to improve soil mineral content in various agricultural systems. I buried pockets under transplants, and those eggplants performed well through the season. At low cost per pound, granite dust can provide trace minerals that synthetics lack. The technique I developed involves creating mineral deposits in mid-March by boring 3-inch wide by 10-inch deep holes using a soil auger. Fill with 1 cup granite dust pre-moistened with diluted fish emulsion, then cap with 2 inches of leaf mold. This can help remineralize soil over time. Studies suggest benefits from sustained mineral uptake that can strengthen plant structure. For varieties like eggplant or cabbage, time it when soil warms to 45 degrees for better microbe activity. The silica in granite can strengthen cell walls, potentially making plants more resistant to pests while improving mineral content. Think of it as a geological treasure chest that's been waiting in ancient mountains for you to unlock. Number 8. Buried dairy waste, the calcium source most gardeners discard. I had significant blossom end rot issues until I used farm whey, that watery dairy runoff available from local sources. Traditional farming communities have used dairy byproducts for soil improvement, applying them around plants for calcium benefits. With dairies producing significant whey waste, it can be a valuable soil amendment from your local cheesemaker. The technique I developed involves creating calcium sources in late April at proper soil temperature by augering 4 by 9-inch pockets near roots. Blend dairy waste with powdered gypsum to prevent nutrient tie-up, bury, and immediately water thoroughly to drive calcium deep. This can provide bioavailable calcium, potentially preventing blossom end rot more effectively than slow-release materials like eggshells. Dairy waste can provide good calcium availability. The reason this became less common is that industrial dairy processing and convenience culture moved away from traditional fermentation and waste recycling practices. My tomatoes now develop properly with reduced blossom end rot, and peppers grow thicker walls with better nutritional content. Think of it as a liquid calcium source that's been waiting in dairy waste streams for you to redirect. Number 9. Biochar pockets, the long-term soil amendment that improves water and nutrient retention. During drought conditions that stressed my beans, I made biochar from backyard prunings after learning about Amazonian terra preta. Ancient soils engineered with charcoal have maintained fertility for centuries. I buried biochar under transplants while neighbors' plants struggled with water stress. Raw charcoal repels water, so here's my technique. Charge pockets pre-planting by drilling 5 by 12-inch voids. Pack 1½ cups sifted biochar soaked 48 hours in molasses worm tea for microbial colonization, then inoculate with mycorrhizae. This creates a carbon-rich amendment with improved water and nutrient holding capacity. Research confirms that biochar can reduce nutrient losses and improve water retention compared to conventional soil amendments. This can reduce water needs while improving drought resistance. This works across various climate zones on different soil types, helping drought-stressed plants become more water efficient. The reason biochar became less common is that industrial agriculture favored synthetic inputs over traditional carbon-based soil improvements, but sustainable agriculture has renewed interest in biochar applications. Think of it as a long-term soil battery that's been waiting in every pruning pile for you to activate. Number 10. Mycorrhizal root dip, the beneficial fungal network that can multiply nutrient uptake. My carrot yields were poor until I dipped roots in mycorrhizal solution. Fungal networks have been utilized in traditional agricultural systems for generations. Various archaeological sites show evidence of enhanced root development in indigenous agricultural areas. This treatment cost little but significantly improved yields. Dry powder needs proper activation. Mix 4 tablespoons mycorrhizae into 1 quart compost tea. Dip roots for 2 minutes at planting when soil reaches proper temperature in April. Then bury in 6-inch pockets with organic matter for fungal habitat. Research confirms this can build beneficial relationships within days, with fungal threads extending root reach significantly while trading soil nutrients for plant sugars. Studies document substantial nutrient uptake improvements across vegetable families. Here's why it works. Mycorrhizae essentially give your plants an extended root system that's invisible but powerful, accessing nutrients from much larger soil volumes instead of just the area around each root hair. The reason this became less common is that chemical agriculture disrupted soil fungi with synthetic fertilizers, but organic growing has renewed interest in these beneficial partnerships. My carrots now grow sweet and uniform, while alliums develop robust bulbs that store well. Think of it as a living network for plant roots that's been waiting in forest soil for you to access. Number 11. Fermented kitchen scrap slurry, the traditional technique that can significantly improve harvests. This technique changed my gardening results significantly. After learning about traditional Three Sisters agriculture, I discovered that indigenous farmers fermented organic waste into nutrient-rich slurries that supported productive gardens. I adapted this using kitchen scraps, and my yields improved substantially. Traditional agricultural systems have used fermented organic waste to support crop production while recycling nutrients. Modern food waste represents a significant portion of household garbage. That's potential fertilizer worth considerable money per household yearly. The technique that took me time to perfect. Ferment mixed kitchen scraps in a container with rainwater and hardwood ash for 6 weeks, stirring weekly until it develops a pleasant, yeasty smell instead of putrid odors. Strain and bury portions of slurry per transplant hole 8 inches deep, then plant immediately. This creates an underground nutrient source that releases NPK plus trace minerals over an extended period, providing balanced nutrition with beneficial biology that synthetic fertilizers lack. Properly applied fermented organic matter can provide significant yield increases across vegetable families. This works on most crops: tomatoes, peppers, brassicas, root crops, legumes. Most plant families respond well with improved growth and disease resistance. The reason this became less common is that industrial food systems separated us from our waste streams, while chemical companies promoted synthetic alternatives over traditional biological soil methods. Think of it as liquid garden nutrition that's been waiting in your daily food scraps for you to process. Here's what I want you to understand. These aren't just gardening tricks. They're a complete paradigm shift from expensive inputs to resourceful abundance. When you start seeing your kitchen scraps, yard waste, and local byproducts as buried treasure instead of trash, your entire relationship with gardening transforms. If this video opened your eyes to the hidden potential in everyday materials, smash that like button to help other gardeners discover these beneficial techniques. Drop a comment below and tell me which buried treasure surprised you the most. Are you team eggshell collars for that calcium source, team fermented kitchen scraps for that traditional nutrition power, or team human hair bundles for that free nitrogen source? Make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell, because I'm constantly testing new variations of these techniques and sharing the results that can save you years of trial and error. Remember, sometimes the most powerful garden transformations aren't hiding in expensive fertilizer bags at the garden center. Sometimes they're buried in your daily routine, just waiting for you to recognize their potential and put them to work underground where the real magic happens.